I've been a clinician all the way through True and True. I joined this practice because it was at the time filled with what I would say leaders in my profession, people that I only dreamed of practicing with, people that I've read their books and watched their lectures, and then they asked me to join them, and it was like, am I really being asked to join the New York Yankees of dentistry? But I got that opportunity and I jumped on it. A young man from the Northeast coming down to Georgia was challenging in the beginning, but I love it down here. Very friendly part of the country, great people. And this practice really taught me a lot about life. The people in this office have been with me my entire career. My young ladies that you may have just saw in the window there have been with me 28 years. Yeah. Both my surgical nurses, my orthodontic assistant, 25 years. So we have a lot of people here who've been here, they're family, when they've been with you that long, longer than my wife. Mm-hmm. So it's become a family here. We also take a lot of pleasure and I would say pride in the fact that we're all educators. Dr. Goldstein, who is the founding and originating partner of this office, and his father opened this office in 1929, so it has quite a legacy.
Wow.
So Dr. Goldstein would always say, it's not good enough that I got you from a great program and you've been well trained. You see several specialists in this office, prosthodontists, oral surgeons, orthodontists, periodontists. But he would say, you need to teach. I need teachers here too. You need to give back. I want people who are gonna be part of dentistry, part of the profession, not just live off the profession. And so he would, I would say, give a nice nudge, a push for us to write articles, to write chapters, to do clinical research, to benefit the entire profession at large. We also, in mid 2000s, we decided the world was changing and it went from analog to digital and education was changing. So how do we stay connected with dentists around the world? How do we educate the person who can't travel to come see us? And I'm very proud to say that we started the #1 online dental education network in the world, dentalxp.com. We were the founders of the company back in 2006. It was an idea. In 2009, it was launched, and we're now going on our 11th and 12th year. We have over 225,000 members around the world. We've educated quite a few dentists through that medium. So we've done it through lectures, live meetings, academy meetings around the world, traveling. I've been to 6 continents lecturing. So has most of my partners. But also through Dental XP, I've touched way more people than I ever could have done it through lecturing, doing that through the digital media that we now using in Dental XP.
There's 2 things I want to touch on before I dive more into Dental XP. I've learned in doing a little research on you and you bringing up your niece, Dr. Salama.
Yes.
There's a couple of Dr. Salamas
Yes.
in the game.
My brother, Dr. Henry Salama, who worked with us, traveled back and forth from Philadelphia for the better part of 15 or 16 years.
Wow.
He's still a part of our team from an educational standpoint, still participates in dentalxp.com. He's no longer practicing with us like he did. He stopped doing that about 3 or 4 years ago.
And if I remember an article I read about you, he was one of the motivators for you to get in this field, or there was a doctor's
Yes.
brother? Or?
Yes, no, there was my brother. Henry is older than me, and he was at the University of Pennsylvania finishing his program in periodontal prosthesis, a dual specialist. So we both are dual specialists, trained at the same university. But I ended up with a problem with a tooth. I was an undergrad, I was studying biology. I have a degree in biology at Binghamton and State University. I had a tooth problem, so I drove to Philadelphia and saw my brother while he was part of the program. Ended up needing a root canal and a crown, and my brother and one of his partners, who's an endodontist, treated me there, and I got to see the school. And then a short time after that, I got sick. I had an illness, and I ended up in the hospital for several days. Oh, no. Those 2 experiences probably led me to dentistry. The positive experience I had at the University of Pennsylvania with my brother being treated there at the school by graduate students, and being ill and being at a city hospital just made me feel that the style of medical care would be mostly in the dental field, and I went in that direction, and I think I made the right choice.
Yeah, that struck to me about your story is, you know, I mean, this is a family affair. And,
it is,
and that's cool. You know, I mean, that's something. And I guess your story about moving on to Dental XP, when you know, you said you originally had that vision back in '06, and then it came to fruition in '09, and how you met a patient, or there was a patient that was a web developer, and you shared your vision, and he helped you kind of put that together. Am I right on that? And so
we actually went to them and said, you know, actually the story started in a swimming pool. Had my son, my second son was born. I looked up, you know, at the sky. So my son, my oldest one, was 3 years old. So a plane overhead, and he said, you know, "Daddy, you know, in the plane." You know, so which I was in a lot, going on planes a lot. My brother was visiting, who's now the CEO of Dental XP. He's not a dentist. My brother Eddie, and at that time he was like, you know, it's got to be a better way. There's internet at the time, and there was no high speed, and you know, it's back in the day. And he goes, why can't we just take this to the digital media, and therefore you can contact a lot more people, you can do a lot more teaching, be more effective for the rest of the world, without having to leave your house as much and getting on that plane that your son just pointed to. And I was like, yeah, but that doesn't exist. He says, well, why don't you make it exist? So we started playing around with the idea, but around 2005, 2006, we had a couple of young men who were patients of ours who were from Georgia Tech, who were computer engineers. And we said, hey, what do you guys think about this concept, this idea? And they were saying, hey, I think we can put it together for you in return for some of the dental work they were getting. And so it was a barter. But we put it together. They were a very integral part of the early days of Dental XP. They helped create the software and hardware that we currently use. It's been modified, obviously, and updated. But that was something that really led us to be able to find our way, what we're going to do. In the beginning, it was mostly interviews and very little content. We didn't know how to store it in the cloud and all the other things. So, you know, today Dental XP is an older, more polished version of a little idea that grew out of a swimming pool in 2003.
And a father's heart wanting to be with his son.
Yeah, and a father wanting to be with his son for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think so.
It is, and I hadn't heard that part of it, and I'm glad we got to capture that.